Hi, welcome back to Missouri Cricket Barn Homestead. This is Debbie. We are out here in a jungle of tomatoes right now. My grandson and I are out here in the garden. My daughter has actually started back to school. She'll be finishing her last semester to get her master's in music. So isn't that going to be amazing? So she'll be getting that done. And we have loads and loads of tomatoes. I'm not sure you can see them in there, but we are starting to get some colors on them, some blushing up. And our tomatillos are just nuts. Yes, we have a lot of weeds. We have been battling weeds this year, almost as bad as last year, actually a little bit worse in some ways. We've had so many weeds in this garden. In fact, I have given up on half of the garden, and I'll tell you which half it is. It is the brassicas, because we have had so much pest pressure this year on our cabbages and our lettuces, our spinach and kale and all of those things, the beets, that they just have not done well at all. So we have focused on our main staple crops, which are our peppers, tomatoes, corn, beans, cantaloupes, watermelons, all of those things. We have been focusing on those more heavily because those are things that we can get into a long storage. You know, I know that we can do cabbages, but with the kind of pest pressure we've had, it's just not going to happen this year. So all of the organic methods of keeping pests off just have not worked. We've just had so much there's been a lot of rain this year. There has been just a lot going on with pest pressure. So it's been kind of crazy with all of that. So again, we're just focusing on our main staple crops. I've already picked a couple of gallons of beans, and I still have some more in here that I have picked. I just gave a neighbor a couple of gallons because we have so many beans in our fridge already that we don't need any more in the freezers or anything else. So now we're focusing on the tomatoes and the corn, and we've got dill and cilantro and all of our herbs coming up like crazy. We've got squash running out of our ears, and the squash is actually over in the weedy section. You can see the weeds, but you can also see the yellow blooms. The squash are still blooming. They're doing great. They're climbing up and over the weeds. So they're managing to do great. We will get in here and we will clean this up as soon as we can and get some more things planted for fall season, like spinach and kale, and we'll try it again. Maybe some more cabbages even. But right now, we have had so much focus going on with our tomatoes and our peppers. We just have been on that. So you can see our peppers down in there. We've got absolutely loaded tomatoes. We have tomatoes like crazy on all of the vines, and they're starting to blush up. And that's going to be a lot of our focus right now, is on those staple crops. Let me show you how the beans are doing. They are just literally flowing out of our ears in beans right now. There's the bean trellis. So we have a 16-foot cattle panel or a hog panel trellis, and you can see our basil right there. And then we have bush beans as well planted. And I even went in and filled in the bush beans because we've had a lot of issues with the bush beans and the weather this year on getting those to come to fruition. But we're finally getting some beans off of those guys, and there's some more coming up. We'll probably plant another succession of contender bush beans or one of our other bush beans. But look at the beans. That is 16 feet of beauty of beans, and the rattlesnake, Kentucky Wonder, and half runners. Let me show you some of the beans hanging in there. Look at that. Just everywhere in here. Put the cat down, please. That is my grandson messing with our cat, and the cat's asking to be let go. And he was making her stay there, and she was growling. Yes. So he gets in trouble sometimes when we're out here in the garden, and he has to be corrected. So anyway, Beans are doing wonderfully. We actually have some scarlet runners in here as well, but we planted those a little bit later, so they'll be coming on soon. But lots of blooms, still lots of beans in here. Don't get rid of your beans yet if you're doing that, because you will have a second flush of beans, and they'll be absolutely gorgeous, sometimes heavier than the first flush that you had. So here you can see all of our beautiful beans in here. And then we have more tomatoes at the end of the row, and I've got dill in here planted and cilantro that is just now coming up, and I think some snapdragons actually got mixed into them as well. So here you can see our tomatoes, and there's 4 very nice sized tomatoes on these. These are the Lemon Jubilee, I believe. They're either Lemon Jubilee or Lemon Drop. But I think they're Lemon Jubilee because they're a lot bigger tomato than the lemon drops usually are. There's some quite large tomatoes in there, and yes, some of our poles have collapsed, so they're kind of all over the ground, and also they're also tied up as well. So hopefully they'll not have a whole lot of blemishes. It's a little bit too late to try to get them trained up the trellises at this point, so we're just doing the best we can. It's been a hit or miss garden this year with how much time that I have available to put into weeding and everything else. So if you're going to start a homestead, and a lot of other homesteads are touching on this right now, there's a lot of homesteads that are actually getting out of it. And it's a lot of work. You have a lot of work, but you have a lot of rewards as well. And that is food that you know what goes into it. Food that you can put up and it's right here in your backyard or on your property somewhere, that you're not having to go huge distances to get it and pay fortunes to get it, and it just might have been a pack of seeds that you put in the ground or seeds that you got given to you, and an old cattle panel that you might have had laying around for a trellis, and you've got the starts of a garden. A lot of times I hoe my garden with actual hoes instead of tilling it. So you can do all kinds of methods if your soil is good of doing that, and make your own compost piles for your own fertilizer, because compost is a fertilizer, and go from there. And then there is our trellis for our tomatoes. They are doing fantastic, and we haven't even used any clips this year. We just kept weaving them in and out of the wire, and you can see they are actually standing up very well, doing fantastic. We have entire what I like to call waterfalls of tomatoes in there. I know that there is a brand or a type of tomatoes that people are calling waterfall tomatoes, but what that just means is that you have a whole lot of tomatoes on one branch, and that's what we have in there. We have so many tomatoes that are doing that, it's just insane. So we're going to have so many tomatoes, so stay tuned. Give us a little bit of time, and when these tomatoes start getting ripe, and you'll get to see all of the tomatoes that we're harvesting and processing. So like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for notices on videos as they come out, and we will see you in the next one. Let me know what's going on in your neck of the woods with the gardens. You might be over with gardening already, or you might be in the thick of canning. And I know some people are moving and going to smaller homesteads or even larger homesteads. So let us know what you're doing in your neck of the woods. We'll see you in the next one.